Sometimes you look at your child when they come home from school, and something just feels quiet. It's not the usual chatter about their day, not the funny story about the teacher, not the excitement about what they learned. It's a quiet that feels heavy. Maybe they mumble, "Fine," when you ask about their day. Maybe they head straight to their room. Maybe their shoulders are slumped just a little more than usual. And in those moments, as a parent, your heart just aches. Because you start to wonder, is something going on? Are they okay? And often, bubbling up from that quiet, that heavy silence, is the subtle, sometimes heartbreaking possibility that they might be feeling lonely, isolated, like they don't quite belong to a group, or maybe any group at school. It's a fear that many of us carry deep down. We want our children to thrive, to feel connected, to have those friendships that make the school years brighter. And when we sense they might be struggling with this, with that fundamental human need for belonging, it can feel overwhelming. How do we even begin to help? What do we say? What do we do when they can't even articulate the ache themselves? This feeling of not belonging, of being on the outside looking in, is one of the toughest school problems children can face. It's not about bad grades or difficult homework. It's about the invisible emotional landscape of their day-to-day lives. And it impacts everything: their confidence, their willingness to participate, their overall well-being. In this space, together, we're going to gently explore this challenge, not with easy fixes or rigid rules, but with open hearts and practical, compassionate ways to understand what our children might be going through and how we, as their anchor, can help them navigate these choppy waters. We'll talk about how to open the door to communication, how to help them understand their own feelings, how to gently equip them with tools, and how to remind them that connection isn't just found within the school gates. It's a journey, and we're on it with them. And I think the very first step, the most fundamental thing we can do when we suspect our child is grappling with loneliness or feeling like they don't belong, is something that sounds incredibly simple, but requires immense intention and patience. It's about creating a space where they can talk, if they choose to, and then, when they do, truly listening without judgment or the immediate urge to fix things. Think about it. When we're feeling vulnerable, when we're hurting, sometimes the last thing we want is a barrage of questions or someone telling us, "Just do this," or "You should try that." What we often crave is just to be heard, to have our feelings acknowledged, to know that someone sees our struggle and isn't trying to immediately sweep it away. For a child, especially as they get older, school becomes this complex social environment. They're navigating hierarchies, unspoken rules, shifting friendships, and moments of both connection and, unfortunately, rejection. If they come home carrying the weight of feeling left out and they're met with a grilling, "Who did you play with today? Why didn't you sit with so-and-so? Just go talk to someone," it can feel less like support and more like pressure. It might even make them feel like they are somehow failing or that their feelings aren't valid or understandable. So, the art of creating this space is about quiet observation and gentle invitation. It's noticing the signs we talked about, the quietness, the change in demeanor, and instead of pouncing with questions, just being present. Maybe it's sitting with them while they have a snack, not asking anything about school, but just being there. Maybe it's working side by side on a chore without conversation, just the comfort of shared presence. Maybe it's suggesting a low-pressure activity like coloring, building with blocks, or taking a walk where conversation can flow more naturally, or not flow at all. And that's okay too. When they do open up, even just a crack about a difficult moment, maybe someone said something unkind, or they felt left out of a game, or they didn't have anyone to sit with at lunch. Our first, almost instinctual reaction as protective parents is often to jump in, to defend them, to strategize, to tell them what they should have done, or to minimize the pain by saying things like, "Oh, don't worry, you'll find other friends," or "Just ignore them." But when a child is feeling lonely, their pain is very real to them. Dismissing it, even with the best intentions of cheering them up, can inadvertently send the message that their feelings aren't important or valid. And telling them what they should have done can make them feel inadequate, like they messed up. So the profound act of listening in this context is about stepping back from the urge to fix. It's about leaning in with empathy. It's using phrases that validate their experience. "That sounds really hard," or "It makes sense that you would feel sad, frustrated, left out," or "Thank you for telling me that." Sometimes, just hearing their feelings named and validated by you is incredibly powerful. It tells them, "I see you, I hear you, your feelings are okay, and you're not alone in them." This kind of listening isn't passive, it's active. It involves really focusing on what they're saying, both with words and body language. It's putting away distractions like your phone. It's making eye contact when appropriate, or simply being present with them side by side if direct eye contact feels too intense. It's being comfortable with silence, allowing them space to find the words. And it's resisting the urge to interrupt with your own stories or solutions. Think about little Maya, who came home one day, normally chatty, and just went straight to her room. Her mom, instead of following her and asking what's wrong, just quietly started folding laundry in the hallway nearby. After a few minutes, Maya came out, looking glum, and sat on the floor next to her. Her mom didn't look up immediately, just kept folding, creating a calm, non-pressured environment. Finally, Maya sighed and said, "Nobody wanted to play my game at recess." Her mom stopped folding, put the shirt down gently, and just said softly, "Oh, honey, that feels lonely, doesn't it?" Maya just nodded, tears welling up. Her mom didn't offer solutions. She just said, "Yeah, that really stinks, and so sorry that happened." And just like that, the door was open. Maya started sharing more about how it felt to see everyone else playing in groups and feeling like the only one left out. Her mom continued to mostly listen, offering quiet affirmations like, "Keep talking, I'm listening," and "That sounds tough." She didn't try to fix it in that moment, just focused on hearing Maya's pain. That act of just listening, of simply being a compassionate witness to her daughter's struggle, was the first step in helping Maya feel less alone in her loneliness. This practice of creating a safe space and truly listening is the foundation. It's the critical first step because without it, any advice or strategies we try to offer later might fall on deaf ears, or worse, push our child further away. It builds trust and lets them know that when they are hurting, you are a safe harbor. Now, once you've cultivated that space for listening, once you have a sense, maybe just a glimmer, of what might be going on, the next layer we can gently explore is trying to understand the why behind the feeling of not belonging. Loneliness isn't a one-size-fits-all experience, and the reasons a child might feel isolated can be incredibly varied and complex. Sometimes, it's about personality. You might have a child who is naturally more introverted, who finds large group interactions draining, and who might struggle to initiate conversations or navigate boisterous social settings. Their feeling of being on the outside might stem from feeling overwhelmed by the social scene, rather than actively rejected. Other times, it could be about differences. Maybe your child has different interests than the dominant peer group. Maybe they're passionate about chess when everyone else is talking about a popular video game. Or they love to read fantasy novels while their classmates are into sports. These differences, while valuable and part of their unique identity, can sometimes make it harder to find common ground and connect. It could also be related to changes. Starting a new school is a classic example, where a child is suddenly thrust into an established social ecosystem and has to figure out where they fit. But even within the same school, friendship groups shift and evolve, especially as children get older. A child might suddenly find themselves on the periphery of their old group, or see friends pairing off, leaving them feeling left out. Sometimes, it's about social skills they haven't quite developed yet. Maybe they struggle with reading social cues, or understanding the nuances of group dynamics, or handling conflict in a way that helps them maintain connections. They might unintentionally rub others the wrong way, or they might be easily intimidated and withdraw, which can lead to isolation. And sadly, sometimes it is about being actively excluded or teased, which is incredibly painful and requires a different kind of support. Trying to understand the specific why for your child isn't about labeling them or overanalyzing every interaction. It's about helping them and you gain clarity. It's a compassionate detective mission. This is where that careful listening we just talked about is so important. What patterns do you notice in what they share? Are the difficulties happening during unstructured time like recess or lunch? Are they related to specific activities? Are they with a particular group or generally across different settings? You can help them explore this gently through open-ended questions framed with that same validating empathy. Not, "Why don't you have friends? Ouch." But maybe something like, "You mentioned recess felt hard today. Can you tell me a little more about what that was like?" Or, "When you feel left out, what does it seem like the other kids are doing?" Or, "Are there times at school when you do feel more connected?" The goal is to help them start connecting the dots themselves, to articulate the situations and feelings. Sometimes, it helps to talk about different kinds of connections. Maybe they feel lonely in their classroom, but they have a great connection with the librarian, or a younger sibling, or a pet. Helping them see that connection exists in different forms and places can alleviate some of the pressure they might feel about school friendships specifically. Consider young Leo, who was quiet and loved drawing. His parents noticed he was increasingly withdrawn after school. Instead of pushing him to join soccer, which he had no interest in, they started asking gentle questions about what parts of school felt good and what felt hard. They learned that while lunch and recess were tough, he loved art class and felt a connection with his art teacher and a couple of other kids who also loved drawing. Understanding this helped them realize his struggle wasn't necessarily about being fundamentally unlikable, but about finding his tribe amidst a larger, less aligned group. This understanding paved the way for how they could support him next, focusing on fostering those art connections and exploring opportunities outside of school related to his passion. Understanding the why isn't about finding a single cause and a single cure. It's about building a clearer picture, piece by piece, through patient observation and empathetic conversation. It helps you tailor your support more effectively and helps your child feel understood rather than just feeling like there's something wrong with them. So we've talked about creating that safe space for listening and beginning to understand the specific reasons behind the feeling of isolation. Now, what happens after that understanding starts to emerge? It's not about magically making friends appear or forcing our child into social situations that terrify them. It's about gently equipping them with the tools they need to navigate social interactions, to build confidence, and to connect when opportunities arise. This is about building social skills, not about engineering friendships. Think of social skills as a toolkit. Some kids seem to be born with a fairly full one, while others need more explicit instruction and practice. And that's perfectly okay. It's not a reflection of their worth, just a part of their development journey. What kinds of skills are we talking about? Simple things, really, but things that can make a big difference. Things like how to initiate a conversation. It can be as simple as, "Hey, what are you reading?" or "That's a cool drawing." Practicing this in low-stakes environments, like talking to the librarian or the cashier at the grocery store, can build confidence. You can even role-play gentle scenarios at home. How to join a group already playing. This is a tricky one for adults, let alone kids. Instead of just standing awkwardly nearby, are there ways to observe first? To notice what they're doing and then maybe ask a question about the game? What are you guys building? Or is that a new rule? Sometimes joining isn't about jumping right in, but about sidling up to the edge first. How to handle rejection. This is crucial and painful. Not everyone is going to click with everyone else, and sometimes kids are unkind. Helping your child understand that rejection happens, that it doesn't define their worth, and that it's okay to feel hurt, but important not to give up entirely, is vital. You can talk about times you felt rejected in an age-appropriate way, normalizing the experience. You can practice resilience phrases like, okay, they didn't want to play now, maybe later, or that's all right, I'll go find something else. How to read body language and social cues. Are people facing towards you or away? Do they look interested or distracted? Understanding these nonverbal signals can help a child know when it's a good time to approach or when someone might need space. You can point these out in TV shows or movies. Look at her face there. Does she seem happy or sad? How to find common interests. This goes back to understanding the why. If your child loves dinosaurs, are there other kids who do too? Helping them identify shared passions can be a natural bridge to connection. It's easier to talk to someone when you're both excited about the same thing. It's important to approach this gently, not like they're broken and need fixing, but like you're offering them tools for their toolbox. You're empowering them. Instead of saying, "You need to learn how to talk to people," you might say, "Sometimes starting a conversation can feel tricky. Want to think together about some easy ways to say hi or ask someone a question?" Or, "Feeling left out hurts. Let's think about what you could do next time if that happens." Maybe find someone else who looks like they're looking for a friend too. Sharing anecdotes from your own life, age appropriately, about times you felt shy or awkward or had to try hard to make connections can be incredibly powerful. It normalizes their struggle and shows them that even adults navigate these things. "Oh, wow. That reminds me of when I was new at my job, and it took me ages to feel comfortable talking to people during lunch. It felt really nerve-wracking at first." Sometimes, practicing these skills doesn't even have to be in a school setting. Encouraging your child to order their own food at a restaurant, or ask a question at the library counter, or talk to a cousin they don't see often. These are all low-stakes opportunities to practice initiating interaction and feeling comfortable talking to others. Remember the art-loving Leo? His parents didn't try to force him into sports. Instead, they talked about how exciting it is to find other people who love the same things you do. They helped him brainstorm things he could say to the other kids in his art class who seemed interested in his drawings. Simple things like, "I really like how you did that sky," or "Have you ever tried using charcoal?" They also found a local weekend art class specifically for kids. This wasn't school, so some of the pressure was off, and it was a place where he was guaranteed to find other kids with a shared interest. They focused on building skills and finding connection points related to his strengths and interests. Building social skills is a process, not an event. There will be successes and setbacks. The goal isn't for your child to become the most popular kid in school overnight. The goal is to help them feel a little more confident, a little more equipped to navigate social situations, and to understand that making connections is a skill they can develop over time. It's about empowering them with agency in their social world. So we've talked about the vital foundation of listening, the importance of understanding the specific reasons behind the feeling of isolation, and the value of gently building social skills. But here's another crucial piece of the puzzle, one that can sometimes feel overlooked when we're focused intensely on the school environment. reminding our children and ourselves that connection isn't solely confined to the school building. Building a sense of belonging can and should happen in multiple areas of a child's life. School is a significant part of their world, absolutely. But relying only on school for all their social and belonging needs can put immense pressure on that one environment. If school is the only place they're trying to find their footing socially, setbacks there can feel absolutely devastating, like there's nowhere else to turn. Helping children find activities or communities outside of school can be incredibly beneficial. This could be anything that genuinely interests them. A sports team, if they enjoy sports, not because you think it will make them popular. The drama club, a coding group, a volunteer activity, a book club, a martial arts class, a scouting troop, a religious youth group, a hobby club. The possibilities are endless and should ideally align with the child's own passions and personality. Why is this so helpful? First, it provides alternative avenues for connection. They might struggle to find their group in the classroom, but maybe they click instantly with the other kids in their robotics club who share their unique enthusiasm. Finding acceptance and friendship in one area of their life can build confidence that can sometimes spill over into other areas, including school. It shows them that they are capable of making connections and that there are people out there who share their interests and appreciate them for who they are. Second, these activities often provide a natural structure for interaction. When kids are working together on a project, or practicing a skill side by side, or sharing a common goal, like putting on a play or winning a game, interaction happens more organically. The focus is on the activity itself, which can take some of the pressure off direct social interaction, making it easier for shyer children to connect. Third, it helps them develop different facets of their identity and build a broader sense of self-worth. Their identity isn't solely tied to how they are perceived in the school hallway. They are also the star coder, the dedicated dancer, the helpful volunteer, the creative writer. This diversification of identity acts as a buffer against the inevitable ups and downs of the school's social scene. If things are tough at school one day, they can look forward to their after-school activity where they feel competent and connected. And let's not forget the power of family connection in all of this. The primary source of belonging for a child is their family. Ensuring they feel deeply connected, loved, and accepted at home is the absolute bedrock of their emotional well-being. When a child knows, without a shadow of a doubt, that they are safe and belong within their family unit, it provides them with an inner strength and resilience that helps them navigate the challenges they face outside the home. Simple things build this connection. Having family meals together regularly, listening, going back to that first point, spending dedicated one-on-one time with each child, having family traditions, showing affection, celebrating their unique qualities, and creating a home environment where they feel safe to express their feelings, including sadness or frustration about school. This deep family connection doesn't replace the need for peer friendships, but it provides a vital sense of security and belonging that makes the search for peer connection less desperate and more healthy. Let's revisit Leo, the art lover. Finding that weekend art class wasn't just about art. It was about finding a community where his specific interest was celebrated. He started making friends there, kids he didn't even go to school with. This helped him feel less like an outsider everywhere. He saw that there were people who appreciated his talent and enjoyed his company. His parents also made sure art was a celebrated part of their home life, displaying his drawings, talking to him about artists he admired, doing art projects together as a family. This reinforced to Leo that his passions were valued and that he belonged right where he was, with them. This didn't instantly solve his challenges at school, but it gave him other places to feel connected and boosted his overall confidence. Helping a child navigate feelings of loneliness and isolation at school isn't about waving a magic wand. It's about building a multifaceted support system. It's about helping them find their people, yes, but also helping them feel okay when they haven't found them yet, by providing connection in other areas of their life, and most importantly, strengthening that foundational sense of belonging within the family itself. It's reminding them that their worth isn't measured by the size of their friend group at school. Parenting is such a journey, isn't it? Full of incredible joys and moments that make your heart swell, but also, inevitably, times when your children struggle, and you feel their pain as if it were your own. When they're facing those quiet battles like feeling lonely or unsure of where they fit in at school, it can feel like a weight you both carry. We've talked about creating space to listen, about gently trying to understand the different layers of why a child might feel isolated, about slowly and kindly equipping them with social tools, and about the profound importance of helping them find connection outside the school gates. And, most importantly, reinforcing that deepest connection within your family. None of these are quick fixes. There's no single script, no guaranteed outcome. There will be days when you feel like you've made progress, and days when it feels like you're right back where you started. That's okay. That's real life. That's parenting. What truly matters, what makes the most profound difference over time, isn't that you instantly solve their social struggles, but that you are there with them, navigating it together. It's the steady presence, the unwavering love, the willingness to listen even when it's hard to hear, the patience to try different approaches, the compassion for their feelings, and for your own. Every quiet conversation you have, every moment you simply sit with them in their discomfort, every time you validate their feelings, every gentle suggestion you offer, every shared activity that builds connection outside of school. These are not small things. They are threads you are weaving into the fabric of their resilience and your family's bond. You are teaching them that difficult feelings are okay, that they don't have to face them alone, and that your love and support are unconditional. It takes immense strength and vulnerability to parent through these challenges, to sit with your child's pain without trying to instantly erase it, to trust that by equipping them and supporting them, you're helping them build the capacity to navigate their own social world over time. You are doing important, vital work. Remember the power you have, not to force friendships, but to nurture a child's self-worth, to create a haven of belonging at home, and to walk alongside them as they figure things out. Your presence, your love, your willingness to engage with these difficult feelings, that is your superpower. You are giving your child the roots and the wings they need, sometimes simultaneously. So, keep listening, keep loving, keep building those connections, both inside and outside the school walls. You are not alone in this journey, and your efforts, even the small, unseen ones, are making a difference. If this conversation resonated with you, if it sparked some thoughts or offered a little bit of comfort or guidance, I'd be honored if you'd consider joining our community here at Family Connection Hub. Clicking that like button helps others find these conversations. Sharing it with a friend or family member who might be facing similar challenges can offer them support. And subscribing means we can continue to explore these important, sometimes messy, beautiful parts of parenting together. We're here for each other, sharing the journey, learning, and growing together. Thank you for being here.